friends, Zoe here. Today I'm coming at you from Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about the reasons why you should consider taking a volunteer vacation. So let's get started. Alright, so first of all, I want to point out this beautiful little turtle necklace that my amazing friend Alyssa gifted me before I went off on my grande adventure and was going to volunteer with sea turtles and Latin America sea turtles in Costa Rica. So if you guys caught the previous video, this was my volunteer trip, which was one of the goals that I've had on my list of achievements for 2018, and I got to fulfill it this past month. And it was absolutely incredible, and this is why I wanted to share these reasons with you today as to why you should consider taking a volunteer trip in the future. It truly was so rewarding for me, and I just really wish that I had learned more about these types of opportunities sooner. Side note, I also want to apologize. They're building a condo next to the building that we're in, so there might be a few noises. I'm sorry, I wanted to film outside and that just wasn't gonna work either, so bear with me guys, I promise I have a good list. Okay, so the first topic I want to bring up is graduation from high school or university. I know that when I graduated from both of these, I actually had to have a certain amount of hours of volunteer work. Depending on what you might be studying, that might be specific, but for me, for example, in high school, there we go with the saws. With high school, it was up to me. I got to choose. And at the time, I volunteered with Parks and Recreation, which was beneficial to me because I ended up getting a job afterwards. But I didn't even consider the fact that I could take my volunteer hours somewhere else in the world and give back in an extraordinary way. And this is also a very eye-opening experience, and was a very eye-opening experience for me. So if you are a student out there and you're debating, you know, whether or not, do I really want to do this? Is it where my passions lie? I promise you that travel and new experiences is what gives you those types of answers, because you are taken away from an environment that you're so used to. Your everyday work changes. You are most likely taken away from screens like your computer, your TV, your cell phone, those types of things, and that allows for a lot of reflection time, which is extremely beneficial. As I've mentioned to you guys in the past, I did a study abroad program in Cuba, and that completely changed my postgraduate path, even though I'd already gotten into schools for what I originally planned to be, which was a teacher. So it's never too late to change your decision, and if you are feeling confused, a volunteer trip could hold the answers. You'll be able to learn so much about yourself and so much about this world and how you want to make it a better place. So through this experience, I was able to learn so much about sea turtles. I volunteered with sea turtles and Latin America sea turtles. I love sea turtles, but now I know so much more about them, and now I know so much more about our ocean, how to keep beaches clean. I expanded my knowledge so much in these areas, and I just never would have been exposed to that if I didn't take this trip. If I didn't take a trip to learn more, to help out, to work with my hands on, you know, like I showed you guys in the previous video, whether it be measuring the turtles, weighing the turtles, studying the turtles, or it was planting mangroves, doing a mangrove reforestation project and working with my hands and planting things into the earth. It was extremely therapeutic, and I just learned so much. Like I said, I learned things that I wouldn't normally have been exposed to. We are in a day and age where, yes, we're blessed that everything's on the internet. All the how-tos can be found on YouTube, you could say, but to learn on your own, by doing, by giving back, it is extraordinary. I want to talk then too about taking a volunteer trip and having the opportunity to travel to places that you wouldn't normally get the opportunity to travel to. So for example, in the past, when I have thought about what it means to take a trip to Costa Rica, I imagine staying in an Airbnb of some kind on the beach, maybe a resort, but the trip I got was so much more fulfilling because I got to see a very special part of Costa Rica. We got to go to beaches where no one hangs out, where you can just relax in the middle of nowhere and do your work, and this was incredible. I just saw the country in a different light than I would have normally if I would have taken the resort route or the hotel route. I was able to really immerse myself. I stayed in a cabin, I ate local food cooked by a local chef. She was amazing, and I just am so fulfilled by the experience, to have seen things, to have witnessed things, to have just really immersed myself into the country in a different way. Those of you who've been on a resort holiday, you can probably relate to this, and it goes along with one of my next points, but you can relate that when you're on the resort, you might have intentions to go off the resort and experience the country for what it is, but then you get caught up going on the touristy excursions, and you may miss out on these special little pockets, these exclusive areas, these beautiful pieces of untouched nature. And so moving on with the resorts that I mentioned, and I mentioned this too in my volunteer video, is that so many of us, and I was once one of these people, and probably will be in the future, but when I had the chance to go on a holiday, I had 1 to 2 weeks vacation, and I would often jet off to Mexico or the Caribbean for an all-inclusive stay for a week at a resort. This is relaxing, yes, but to an extent, because I found that I always end up overeating at these places. I always end up like drinking too much, and because I'm so used to and was so used to working day to day, to go to a place and just lie by the pool or lie by the beach, after a couple of days, I tend to get a little bit antsy, like I need to be working, I need to be doing something, and then you just wind up drinking on the beach, and that's your holiday. And if you have ever been on that type of holiday, you know you come home and you almost need a few days to recover, even though that's what your vacation is for. So just consider that. Consider maybe taking a trip that's a little bit more rewarding, and if you do crave the beach and you do crave sunshine, those opportunities are there. Like I mentioned, Costa Rica, volunteering with sea turtles. I got my beach holiday and I left feeling so rejuvenated. This time volunteering for me, being away from screens and all that as well, allowed for a lot of meditation and relaxation time to an extent that I haven't had it in a while. And especially coming out of the experience of doing ayahuasca in Costa Rica the week prior, being fully immersed into nature and being away from social media, being away from Wi-Fi, it allowed me to think more about my life and what I wish to do moving forward. So I do try to meditate when I can. I do have my quiet time. I do really try to work on myself and journal and all these things, but it's a lot different when you're in nature. And those of you who maybe take hikes on your own or go out in nature on your own, you can relate to this. But this feeling that I got while volunteering, this reflection time, this meditation time, it was so valuable to me, and it helped me to carve out and plan my 2019 year, which has actually gone a whole lot different than I would have expected before I went on this trip. So it really allowed me to access this part of me that maybe I had been forgetting about, or maybe I just hadn't been tending to. And so with that, I'm just infinitely grateful for having the opportunity to be in nature and get to know myself, and also give back to this beautiful planet Earth that we're all living in. So these are some of the reasons why I loved my volunteer experience, and is definitely all of the reasons why I will keep volunteering in the future. And as I mentioned, I just wish that I knew about these types of opportunities sooner, because I would have jumped on them when I had the chance. And all it takes is a simple Google search, but I'm gonna be leaving all the information for sea turtles and Latin America sea turtles down below. So this is a trip that I went on in Costa Rica. I'll leave the video down there as well. And I highly recommend it, you guys. It was just such a beautiful experience. And I know that if you book a trip, to be able to give your time and money into something that helps the greater good of our world and helps animals, you're gonna feel pretty darn amazing. You're gonna feel so rejuvenated, so rewarded after your trip. So I hope that you consider taking a volunteer holiday next time you have some vacation time. Sending you lots of love, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!